What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. I've got a super unique and amazing guest for you today. He lives up in Anchorage, Alaska, where for over 10 years, he's managed the distribution of groceries and consumables to rural communities throughout the state. I mean, we're talking communities that don't even have roads, all right? So I'm sure he's dealt with some interesting complications in that. But he also helps these local businesses in those communities implement systems and processes to better serve their customers. He runs a digital marketing agency. He's become very successful in the network marketing space over the last few years. And he's the host of the Burnt Phone Marketing Radio podcast. You can find out more about him and his services at his website, ericsablan.com/home. And without further ado, please welcome to the show, Eric Sablan.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm honored to be on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time. Man, that's a huge deal for me to be invited to your show. I really appreciate what you got going on here.
Absolutely, man. I totally appreciate you and your time as well. And hopefully you can share some of your experience and insights with our audience today. As I always do with my guests, I was doing a little research on you before we got on. I actually watched an interview that you had done a little while ago, and you mentioned a program that your company does in some of these rural communities, and it really touched me, man, when I heard it. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about it. You said it was called Feed Your Family for a Day.
Yeah, awesome. So I've actually been distributing. I was actually in the distribution of electronics for a long time. I've been doing sales all my life, and I actually found a company that distributes out to rural Alaska. So we distribute to villages that are anywhere from 200 people, actually about 90 people, to about 500 to 1,000 people. So we are the Walmart. We are the supplier of for all these places. And what we've done was really cool. What we've done is one of my colleagues, he created something called Feed a Family for a Day, and it's actually taken off really, really amazing, because what we do is we actually go out there, and when we go to the stores and make visits, we ask the manager, hey, who in the community has had, maybe a hardship, maybe a death in the family? And again, there's only 80 to 1,000 people. So the manager usually knows what's going on. And we say, you know what, we want to buy them groceries, supplies and provisions for, we'll spend $100 on that family. And it's just been huge. It's one of those things that I don't think anyone can duplicate, because it's truly from the heart. And it was nice that my colleague came up with it, but we've actually gone out and we've been to, I think, 70, 80 villages and just done the Feed a Family for a Day. And it's a big deal.
That's so cool, man. That really is, like you say, it's from the heart, and you can tell, that you're impacting people on a real personal level, and you really are helping them and changing their life by doing that. So that's an awesome program. I commend you on doing that for sure. And, actually, it's hard probably for a lot of people to imagine what a community of like 100 to 1,000 people looks like. I mean, I'm actually from a small town in Louisiana, so I understand that sort of community vibe, and like everybody knows everybody's business, and what a small town is. But I've never lived in a town that didn't have roads that go to it, so I'm sure it's still completely different. But the fact that you're able to connect these communities together and provide, the sustenance that they need to maintain is really it's pretty special and very unique. I've never talked to anybody that does what you do.
Yeah, I get on. I probably get on. Last year I was on. I mean, some weeks I'm on 8 to 10 flights a day. I mean, a week, 8 to 10 flights a week. So, some days I'll go out to a village and land and then come back to the main hub. And it's, I'm on a small, tiny little plane. I'm on sometimes a 207, which is basically a 6-seater that can carry 1,000 pounds, prop plane. Or I actually did a tour with the Eskimo Ninja Warrior, because we do something called Grad Blast, and we bring the Eskimo Ninja Warrior out to schools to talk about, his story and how he came out of a village and created what he's done. And we actually chartered a plane, and it was a mall. It had gigantic Tundra tires so it could land anywhere. I mean, all of our runways that we land on, or 99% of the runways that I land on, are dirt. So if you can imagine, you land and then the dirt cloud comes up. Yeah, it's definitely a different lifestyle out there.
That's
Um,
nuts. You know what? I'm a huge Ninja Warrior fan, so I know exactly who you're talking about, the Eskimo Ninja.
yeah, Nick.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. Right on. Well, yeah, let's talk about, how you got into this. I mean, I know you've lived in Anchorage your entire life, right?
Right.
So how did you get into, this kind of business and also the entrepreneur stuff that you're doing on the side? Can you tell us a little bit about how, everything kind of came together?
So that's actually a really cool story. So growing up, I was actually, I say this from the stage, I was a C student on a good day. Like, school was not for me. Like, if I found a subject that I like, I could excel at it. But the whole, like, you got to do all of these subjects, I wasn't good at. So I noticed that right away. I went into sales because I realized that I could eat what I killed. So I literally just dove into sales. I was in a sales company for at 18, I got on board in a car audio location. I became an installer, then a salesperson, then the manager, and then I grew into B2B. I always aspired to be a rep, so then I went to a B2B company, and that was cool because that was in Seattle. And then when I came back, I had to come back because at the time I had two boys here, and they were young, so they couldn't come down to Seattle because I was on the road all the time. And I just got lucky, and my old boss called the national director and said he's coming back to town. You should let him be the Panasonic distributor. So I literally became B2B. That's where B2B came in. And then I left that company and then came back to this company. It's the same company, but different. Now that was electronics, and now this was food. And my boss was like, "It's not as glamorous as TVs and car stereo and all that, but it's it's something that everybody needs." So I always say, I sell green beans and toilet paper, so I have both ends covered.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So yeah, coming through that, I just kind of realized that marketing was a big deal, and then I really found the passion of helping the people. It's amazing because they rely on me for their bread and their eggs and their food. And, that's a big deal for 800 people. When you show up, if you're doing a great job, they come to you in open arms. And the people that I deal with in rural Alaska, they have such big hearts. And it just, you want to reciprocate what they give to you. So that's kind of where that came from. I don't know. Did that answer the question kind of where that came from?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's really, it's a cool story, man. Like you said, and I can see the journey, as it unfolds for you, and really how it all comes back to connecting with people, and providing, a value and a service to them that they need. And it really is just it's a great story, man. You can tell that you're a really genuine guy, and everything, is from the heart, dude. I love that.
Yeah, I try. I mean, that's one of the things that I've noticed is if you wear your heart on your sleeve and you kind of protect it a little bit, just make sure that you're verifying what's going on. Your life is living the life of abundance is what I wake up in the morning and say that every morning.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about, some of the other stuff you got going on. I know, like, you've got a podcast, you're host of a podcast, you've got the network marketing stuff that you're working on. You've got your agency. Tell us about how, like, that stuff kind of transpired as well.
So I always wanted to do, I mean, like everyone always says, how do you have enough time to do all these things? And I always tell people, if you schedule it, if you put it on your calendar, you're going to do it. So if it comes to working out, it comes to doing anything, meetings and stuff like that, you'll do it. So what I found was I just found pockets of my day to run the agency, to run the network marketing company. I've been in network marketing for 5 years. I always tell people network marketing is a personal development course wrapped with a compensation plan. And the more personal development you do within reason, I mean, you got to apply it, but within reason, the bigger your check grows. And I've seen that happen to me. I've been on many incentive trips and stuff like that. But you know, that's one of the things that I really aspired. And one thing that kind of bridges everything together is the podcast. So it's called Burnt Phone Marketing Radio. And the cool thing about that is I was actually at a seminar, and one of the guys speaking said, if you've been in network marketing for any amount of time, your phone is what we call burnt. So I took that, and that literally is in my intro.
What does
So,
it
you know,
mean?
burnt phone marketing means that they tell you in network marketing, go through all your contacts in your phone.
Hmm.
And after the first, I don't know, I'd say if you're really working the business, honestly, let's say after the first month and a half, 2 months, maybe 3 months, your phone is burnt. And that's a scary thought. And then I always tell people this: if you just got started, your phone is on fire because you're scared to use it, because you don't know the skill set that you need to talk to people. So both ways, new person, seasoned veteran, their phone's burnt. So they can relate to that. And I just kind of bridge the gap. And the biggest, with the network marketing, with the burn phone marketing, my goal is to take down the stigma of how network marketing is a side gig. And that's why I interview a lot of real business owners, because I take what the real business owner says, because we all need three things in business. We need leads, we need sales, and we need to control our expenses. So if they literally can do those three things in network marketing, then they literally can grow their business, because most people just think it's some, side job that, they're aspiring to make 100 or, $500 a month, when if you really treat it like a true business with leads and sales and expenses, then you really will, create something that's what everybody wants in network marketing.
That's pretty cool, man. Can you kind of give a little bit of advice or maybe some tips for anybody listening now that is interested in getting into network marketing, how they can become a little bit more successful? Like, like what can people do to kind of get started down that journey if they want to do that?
So what I've been doing a lot is I've been actually, one of my mentors calls it funnel friction, and he actually makes it a little harder for people to join their team. So think about this. This is the thing. If you want to be successful in network marketing, you want to make it hard for people to join your team. You don't want it to be hard for them to use the product, but you want it hard for them to join your team.
Hmm.
And when I say hard, I mean this. You want people to go through a process like they're interviewing for a job.
Hmm.
Because if you do it that way, if you flip that on the head, instead of I'll take anybody, to you have to apply for my team, and when you apply, you may get accepted. And I always tell people this: when you got accepted to something, how many people did you tell? You told everybody. But if you just came in on board, if you just kind of got let in, guess what you did? You just got let in. So you're not going to tell people. And what I like to tell my new people is, the sale doesn't end when they swipe their card. The sale ends when they're willing to tell their sale or tell their commitment to their network,
Hmm.
because that will tell you that they're all in.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. It's a great way to look at it, actually, because it kind of reminds me of the concept in sales, which is, if you give somebody something for free, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do anything with it. But if you make them, have skin in the game, whether that's through money or through sweat equity or work, or like you say, applying to be a part of that thing, then they're much more involved. They're much more gracious about the opportunity, and like you say, they're gonna talk about it, and they're gonna feel proud about that. So that's a really great tip for sure.
Yeah. People don't do anything. People do what everything they want to do. So if you make it hard for them to get in, or you make it, kind of challenging, the human race is like, we'll take the path of least resistance. And what I love about that concept, like you said, is people will tell people, but they'll also feel like they've done something to get there. They're
Mhm.
a part of the group, or they're a part of the team, because they worked hard to get there.
That's really cool, man. Well, that actually is a great transition into the next topic, which is really like this digital landscape that we live in, and sort of social media really kind of changing the game for business and for how we communicate. How has this kind of impacted you on the network marketing level?
So I love social media, and the reason why I love so here's the caveat. Here's my step back. Whatever you find on social media, you are looking for.
Hmm.
So if you're looking for negativity, you're gonna find it. I like to tell people that I have a block party. I call it a block party. If you're negative, you're gonna be off my page pretty quick. And so I just filter through that kind of stuff. But what I've noticed is, if I'm looking for good people and I'm actually out there looking for good people, not spamming people, don't take it like that, but it's not spam. But if you're looking for good people and you actually are out there putting out value, putting out some content, I love to give away free content. That's why I do my podcast, because it's free, but then people come back to you and you become, a resource, or you become valuable to them. And when you become valuable to them through podcasts and then via social media and then via all of those channels, it's been a great transition. I love getting on social media and working my businesses.
That's awesome. Has it had any kind of impact on like the distribution business? I mean, I don't know, in these rural communities, are they on social? Like, do you communicate with them, or is that part of that system at all?
So last 2 years, we all went social with our business in rural Alaska. Now, here's the cool thing. It's hard for, I'm going to go back. They don't change. The communities out in rural Alaska, it's hard for them to change. So once they hit Facebook, which I love because I'm on Facebook, I understand Facebook. I do Messenger, I do mini chats, I do everything out to my rural Alaska customers via my Facebook page or one of my pages. And yes, it is. I do. I have a funnel that they click and they approve a Friday flash sale via Facebook. They don't
Hmm.
even have to type anything in. It's would you like to take the suggested order? Boom, click the I accept with Facebook, and it sends me an email.
Wow.
So yeah, Facebook has really, and social media has really changed the game out in rural Alaska, because I don't have to do multiple platforms. I don't have to do Instagram. I don't have to do Snapchat. I don't have to do all those because it's hard for them to change. So if they're on Facebook, which is perfect, I understand that platform. So I love the fact that they're on Facebook, and it's just changed. Honestly, it changed our business, and our competitors trying to catch up, but it's they don't have a guy that's out there trying to understand the Facebook marketing aspect of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's people are like these communities for sure. And again, I come from a small town, so I understand that sort of resistance to change. But if now that they have accepted Facebook as part of their ecosystem, it just, I mean, yeah, they may be 1,000 miles away, or like you can only get there, like you say, by plane and land on a dirt runway. And my God, that just scares the crap out of me. But you can connect with them instantly, like via the social channel, and you can, and in real time, you can provide solutions to their needs. So that's really cool, man. Really, really pretty. It's just amazing. We live in a really special time right now.
We
So
do. It's so fast.
yeah, and the opportunity too that is presenting itself to those that are willing to listen is pretty amazing. So that's cool, man. Well, let's go ahead and transition into the next topic, which is that work-life balance. And I mean, again, you've got all kinds of stuff going on. How do you manage it all in your life?
So I have 7 kids. My youngest is 20 and my oldest is 30. I have one grandbaby, and I do the 3 businesses. I basically do my network marketing company, I do my podcast and the agency, and then I also do the distribution company. So here's the thing that I always say: whatever you want to do, you'll do it. So I wake up at 5 in the morning every single morning. One of the books that changed my life was The Miracle Morning. I read that book and changed everything. I get up. My goal is to have more done before lunch, but actually before lunch, than anyone in the whole office has done all day. That's my goal. And if it's, waking up at 5 in the morning, getting my run in, and then jump in on a podcast with you at 7 a.m. before anyone's at the office, that's what it takes. If it takes, um, doing some meetings at night with people or Zoom calls, that's what you do. And one thing that's really cool is I go over with my wife. She's not a part of the business, but she's 100% supportive. So I would say you're going to have to get buy-in from the people around you, and you're going to have to show results.
Mm.
So, I'm actually sending her down on a flight tonight to Seattle to see the grandbaby for a week. So, as long as you're showing results in what you're doing, you can get the buy-in from the people around you, and don't force them into it.
Yeah.
They'll do what they'll do. If
Right.
they're going to be supportive, then be supportive. So that was why I say work-life balance. I'm always on. I tell my clients for the distribution business, if you're open, I'm open. So anytime, if they're going to text, I'm in sales, so I'm always on.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a great point, man. And I think a lot of people, they kind of take that 9 to 5 mentality and try to put it onto, running a business. But the reality is like you said, if your customer's open, you need to be open. And if you
Yeah.
do sales successfully, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. You have to be willing to answer that phone and make that connection. And wow, man, I'm blown away. You've got 7 kids, these 3 different businesses, and you're still doing it all, plus sending your wife around the world. Like, how cool is that? Like, you're living it, dude. You're living the dream.
I just got back from Texas Monday morning
Oh,
for the
really?
weekend. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, what does Eric Sablon do for fun?
So, I work. I love to work. I play softball. I used to golf a lot. I travel. I travel a lot. Just in this, so I just last year I was in Alaska Airlines Gold 75K. So that means I flew 75,000 miles on Alaska Airlines. I just hit 50,000 miles this month on this last trip for this year. So I go to seminars. I travel. I love to, I love to read. I love to, and that 20 years ago, that would never have come out of my mouth, just so you know. So I love to read. I love to go to seminars. I love to be a student. And, like I said, I play softball, but family is a big deal. And one of the things that I've learned in the last, 5 years is be present when you're present.
Wow.
And you don't have to, take, you don't have to take a whole lot of time, but just be present when you're present.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Really insightful. I mean, most people are, well, I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people are just kind of on. They're I guess they're like on a track, right? And they're just living this life. They're just going down this course, but they're not really present and aware. They're not taking action in their life, and an active role, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um, and once you can step back and actually be present and enjoy every little moment for what it is, like this conversation right now we're having, I'm having a blast, man. This is a great time talking to you. I'm learning so much, and it's true. Once you can boil it down and just see the simplicity of it all, it really opens up and life becomes great. So I'm glad to hear that, things are going so awesome for you, man. And what I got one more question for you, which is like, what advice, I mean, now that you're here where you're at, what is some advice that you would give to yourself maybe 5 or 10 years ago?
That's funny because that's the same question I literally ask all of my podcast interviewees. And the thing that I'd say is, um, literally, there's two: go faster and believe quicker in whatever you're doing. And then it was what I said: be present in the present. Because I have so 3 years ago, I had all of my boys were everywhere. They were teenagers, but they were everywhere. And we went on this cruise. We took a family cruise and we brought everybody together. And since then, we have family dinners every Sunday. They're always looking for where we're at. They always want to know what we're doing. That one thing really brought everybody back together. And that literally is where I said, you know what, I got to be present in the presence. And, that's what I'd say. That's what I'd give advice, because a lot of people go on this grind and they'll say, oh, yeah, I'm going to make this 90-day run. And I'm going to tell my people that I'm not going to talk to them and we're going to miss games. And that's one of the things. I never missed a game. All my sons played football. All my sons played basketball. I never missed a game. I was always there. And that mindset of I'm going to shut off the family for 90 days, I think it's crazy. Because looking back, if I would have missed any of those games, I would have felt bad.
Yeah.
Because now they're not playing those games. And, that's part of them growing up. One of the things that when I was growing up is I played hockey, and I loved to look in the stands and see my parents there. And just, they were always present in the presence. So
That's awesome, man. I love it. I love your energy and your outlook, brother. It's been a blast chatting with you. Tell everybody where they can find you and how they can, what's going on in your world.
So, like I said, we just launched the podcast. If you go to burntphoneradio.com, burntphonmarketingradio.com, or Burnt Phone Marketing Radio, you can find me. I do interviews. I try to do them twice a week. You can come to my my page, www.ericsplon.com/home. Learn a little bit about me. Friend request me on Facebook. I'd love to chat you guys up. Facebook and Instagram are very personal, so I really like it. I like to take down the, it's not personal, because I always, when I meet somebody in real life, I'm like, so we were Facebook friends forever, and now we're friends. So I love to do that. So I'm traveling a lot, so I'd love to meet up with people when I travel. So yeah, find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, and check out my website, www.ericsplon.com/home.
Cool. Well, there you guys have it, man. If you're at all interested in network marketing, learning more about how to be present and how to live a life that is actually fulfilling, I highly recommend you go check Eric out. And dude, hopefully you and I can meet up and be friends one day.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. We'll be friends for sure.
All right, brother. Well, cool, man. This has been a blast. Thank you again for showing up today and sharing your knowledge and insight. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.